coverage, 6 p.m. Eastern, with all my maniacs, Steve Smith Sr., Joe Thomas, Michael Irvin. And Michael Irvin probably still recovering from a wild one this past Thursday night.
All the time in the world for Taylor Heineke. Heineke throws it into the end zone. Touchdown! Heineke puts it right where he had to. And the legend of Taylor Heineke grows. And it's now on Dustin Hopkins to give Washington its first win of the year. Snap, good hold, kick is no good. But a flag is down in the secondary. Washington is saying that the Giants are offsides. Hopkins will get another shot. Good snap, good hold. Kick is good. Washington wins it. And this was some game here in Landover.
Oh my God. D-Hall was there at the game as well, calling it for Washington. That was the most NFC East game I've seen in a while. It was wild, back and forth. It was a little sloppy, especially on the Giants' end. But for Washington and Taylor Heineke, can they at this point now win the division with Heineke as the starter?
Well, you know what, Colleen? Everybody in that locker room believes in Taylor Heineke and thinks that he is the guy. I thought this offense was much better at the beginning of the season with Ryan Fitzpatrick, but we saw in the first game that Washington hasn't shown the ability to protect Ryan Fitzpatrick. So he gets hurt. Then you bring in a guy like Taylor Heineke, who is a gunslinger, can make every throw, has so much moxie, can get outside of that pocket and extend some plays. So he kind of helps the O-line in that aspect too. So, I think the sky's the limit for this offense. But, the real question is, can this defense continue to play as poorly as they've played so far through 2 weeks and continue to say that this team's going to be a contender? I don't know about that one, Colleen.
Well, they're in a good division for that. Their chances are a little bit better being in the NFC East. But Taylor Heineke, the one thing I will say about him when we had him on the postgame show, he was a little coy at first, like being humble. And then we asked him if he thought that he deserved to be the starter the rest of the way. And he did not hesitate one bit, was so confident, came right out, was like, absolutely, yes. So I loved that about him. But on the Giants side of things, Joe Judge must be furious. As a former special teams coordinator, 11 penalties. That was so sloppy. The biggest one, the offsides at the end of the game, which just gave the game to Washington. All of the dropped passes, Darius Slayton with that huge one in the end zone. And this is a team that has a brutal schedule coming up. The Saints, the Rams, Chiefs, Bucks, all still ahead for the Giants. And not only is it a question of will they win the division, can they still win the division with all of these problems? I know it's only 2 weeks in, but they need answers on Daniel Jones as well, like what they're going to do with him. So they need to figure out a lot of stuff. The season is very important. They need to get Saquon Barkley going as well. He only had that one rush for about 41 yards, and then the rest, I think he averaged less than 2 yards per carry. So a lot needs to go in the right direction from that point on Thursday. All right, so let's get to the NFC standings, though, for the moment. The Eagles, a popular pick to finish last in the division by some, not all people, could be the first team to 2 wins. They have the Niners this week. Nick Sirianni knows last week's blowout win in Atlanta won't help them tomorrow.
That you can win round one, and if you're sitting in the corner thinking about how good you fought round one, you're going to get your butt kicked in round two. So it just kind of ties into, and it's like, I mean, the NFL is such a, it's awesome. It's like, think about all the fans we have in the NFL. It's unbelievable, this game. I mean, I love this game, and so it's like a heavyweight prize fight. All those people pay all that money to go see that, or to go see it, and to the pay-per-view to see it. Like, it's the comparison that every game is a heavyweight championship bout. So it's a couple different modes. Like, yes, it's playing the next play and playing the next game mode, but it's also like every round freaking matters, and let's go.
Every round freaking matters. Nick Sirianni still talking about fights and boxing and I guess Rocky, but the Eagles did land some punches in week 1 in the opener. Mike Robb, what do you like about what you saw in Philly's scheme?
Well, first of all, I got to give an apology to all my Philly fans and my Philly guys I know in that locker room, because I was not big on this Nick Sirianni hiring. I thought that they may have hired a yes man. And then as we got through the offseason and just seeing how this guy operates, listening to D. Hall told me he was out there and had a chance to talk to Nick Sirianni. Just hearing this guy on Good Morning Football, like, he's changing my mind, and I think he's designed an offense that perfectly enhances or perfectly shows what Jalen Hurts does. I mean, every single play, guys, had some type of a pass connected to it, some type of a read option connected to it, some type of a triple option connected to it. It seemed like he designed his offense so that Jalen Hurts can use all of his abilities to always have an answer for a defense. And then when I looked at the stats, I mean, you look at what Jalen Hurts did last week: 27 for 35, 265 yards, 3 passing touchdowns for a passer rating over 125. And then he added that stuff on the ground, right? I mean, if he can continue to do this, my thoughts are going to change on whether the Eagles can win this division. I think they do well when they're the underdog, and people have kind of, looked at Philly and said that they can't win this division. I think they're fighting. I think they're taking on the personality of their head coach and Jalen Hurts. And we all know Jalen Hurts is a winner. Hopefully he can continue to do that.
I think, too, Mike Rob, it's really helpful that this Eagles offensive line is healthy right now, and they were all together. They all played together. As it turns out, being together makes a product a lot better, and we saw that in this game. All 5 starters played all 71 offensive snaps in this game, and last year we know that was the issue. They used a record 14 different offensive line combinations, which helps explain why they allowed 65 sacks. And this was a team that the sacks were a major problem last year. And I think also Joey Bosa, he's going to provide some challenges, of course, this week. But one thing to look out for, low-key, Landon Dickerson, their second-round pick, who's coming off the ACL. He missed all of training camp. He missed last week. He practiced in full this week. He's going to dress. It's unclear what his role will even be, but it's nice that he will get back on the field.
Hey, guys, let's not be confused. The 49ers defensive line will be a lot better than what Atlanta put on the football field. So when I watch this game and how it could unfold, I'm just like, dude, Bosa, D. Ford, Armstead, Kinlaw. I see all of these names, and I just see how DeMeco Ryans is going to use just his front four and get all of this pressure. And that's going to put so many guys on the back end into those passing lanes. I just think that the 49ers defensive line has a huge advantage. They have an advantage because of the scheme they run, the continuity, they've been together. And so, when I watch these individual matchups and how they could play out, I just see total dominance from this 49ers pass rush, their front. I love Jalen Hurts, and you're right, that first game, he shocking awed me, to say the least. But like Nick Sirianni said, this is a heavyweight bout, and you got a team who's been in some really, really big time games, and I'm just looking forward to watching these two teams compete. But I gotta give the advantage to that 49ers defensive line.
I love D. Hall slamming the brakes, because actually that's kind of what they're doing in Philly. All offseason they were doubted, and in talking to the people there, they're like, we're not that bad. Like, we've got really good players on the offensive and defensive line. Like, that's how you win games in this league. And now that everybody's like, whoa, look at the Eagles, they're like, whoa, hold on. Like, so they're kind of, riding this little roller coaster of public opinion along with the rest of us. But D. Hall is right. And this goes back to Sirianni talking about a boxing match. This is going to be the physical part of the game. The offensive line and the defensive line for both teams, because this is where both teams are really good. And the Niners, they're losing their running back, Raheem Mostert. In comes Elijah Mitchell, runs for over 100 yards last week and 38-yard touchdown. This is a guy that could take it to the house at any minute. I was talking to Trent Williams about this the other day, and he said, I've been watching him. They focus on their blocking schemes, but they see how the running back runs in connection with that, and he's really impressed with what the rookie Elijah Mitchell's done. Looks like he's going to be the lead guy, with Trey Sermon responding well to being inactive last week, but Mitchell looking like the lead back for this 49ers backfield.
Mitchell, a huge waiver wire pickup this week, but Shanahan, he loves to mix it up, loves his options out there. So we'll see if he delivers out there. 6th-round pick. Love to